Yeah, we rolling deep across our 10 in the dirty south where the rivers blend from Lake Charles to Baton Rouge. We riding with the Saints under them southern skies. We hustle hard, ain't no time to stop. Drive to the top, it's our time to shine. From Nola's heart, we redefine the grind. Southwest Louisiana, stand up proud. With every beat, we bring the heat, hear the crowd. From Houston streets to Lafayette, Low McNeese. Right, let the raging cages flow. DJ Dirty South, turn it up loud. Marking our vibes, yeah, we make our proud. Get on the bus, we coming alive. Drive to the top, it's our time to shine. From Nola's heart, we redefine the grind. Southwest Louisiana, stand up proud.
Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome back to another live edition of On The Go right here on Driving to the Top Productions and Dirty South Entertainment. I'm your host, Marky Mark himself, Dirty South. What's up, everybody, on this Thursday night, July 16th, 2026. Hope you guys are having a wonderful week. We got rid of the rain finally for now. It's been nice weather. Hope it can continue that way going into the weekend. We got a loaded show tonight with another football preview. Before we go any further, you know what to do. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on X at DirtySouthENT_. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, On The Go, of course. Drive to the Top. You can find them on Facebook, X, Instagram, all that good stuff. This show is presented by, of course, Rogue Energy, the official gaming drink of On The Go, and, of course, Driving to the Top Productions, and by POGGERS, the official vitamin supplement of On The Go. That's the promo code OTG to get 10% off, whether you go to rogueenergy.com, download the Apple native mobile device, or go to poggers.shop. I sent you, and we're going to save some money there. Well, I got a loaded show for y'all. I do have another preview we're going to do later in the show. It is July 16th. I'm going to preview the McNeese Cowboys midway through the show, but first I want to just get the H-Town stuff out of the way because we are officially now in the second half of the 2026 MLB season. The Astros will take the field tomorrow after a few days off with the All-Star break. But let's recap not just what happened recently. Let's recap the entire first half of the Astros season. So without any further ado, let's start this show off, mostly like always, in the 713. And let's go straight to some Astros talk. Let's go. We're going to kick the show off tonight with a little Astros talk. Now, we are going to recap what happened. First, we're going to recap what happened this past weekend before we get to the first half overall season recap. They had, I want to say this was I think this was the third or fourth meeting of the Lone Star Series with the Texas Rangers. Third or fourth range, something like that. Well, they were up I-45 North in Arlington, Globe Life Field. Unfortunately, they lose another series in this one. They needed to win this one to try and keep the ball rolling, but they dropped game one of the Rangers 7-3. Had a hell of a matchup on Saturday night where they won game two 9-3, but dropped the final game before the All-Star break in a walk-off 6-5 loss against the Rangers. So as of right now, before I do this entire first half recap, the Houston Astros currently sit at 47-51 of the season, third in the AL West, 20th overall in MLB. Last I saw, I think they were like 9th or 10th in the American League. I can't believe I didn't put that down. That's what happened. That's what the recap was from this past weekend. Let's talk about how this, I'm going to call this horrific first half of the season went. Didn't go the way we wanted with all the injuries. I'm talking about, it was like game after game, series after series, week after week. We just couldn't get the injury bug off of us. And it all started with losing one of our top guys on the team in Hunter Brown, who I think had the longest time out. He was out for 60 to 90 days with that severe injury. We had one of the worst bullpens ever. Our pitching was not as good without him. But I want to start positive on the end because I would have said this. If we would have not had all these injuries, we probably would have been one of the best teams in the league right now, because I want to start on a positive note. On the hitting side, the Astros are ranked second in hitting, especially in the American League. This season, the Astros have had 449 runs, 796 total hits, 151 doubles, 7 triples, 133 home runs, 428 RBIs, 322 walks. They did strike out 797 times with 34 stolen bases. They were caught stealing 12 times. Their batting average for the first half of the season, 242. Their OPP, 315. Their sluggage percentage, 413. And their OPS, 728. They were the best hitting, second best hitting team. I want to say behind, I think it was the Phillies. I don't remember if it wasn't the Yankees for sure. If it wasn't the Yankees, I think it was the Phillies. I wish I'd have had them ranked, but they had the Astros ranked second in hitting in the American League. While in pitching, we were like not good at all at 9 with all these injuries. First half season numbers for our pitching crew: ERA is 4.81. 7 shutouts, 28 saves, 33 saved opportunities, where they've also allowed 789 hits, 496 runs, 462 errors, 137 home runs. They hit 56 basemen and allowed 427 walks. But they did strike out 844 batters at the first half of the season. That's probably the only good number I have on that. But if we wouldn't have had all these injuries, I guarantee you they'd have been probably like top 3 in pitching. The injury bug killed them there. But I think what also helped the Astros keep on going, the lifesaver of this team all across the board, this man damn near led everything on the hitting side, is our guy Yordan Alvarez. Ariel Yordan is the heart and soul of the Astros hitting team. His average, he's leading across the board in everything. His batting average, .318. He leads also with 31 home runs for the first half of the season, 70 RBIs, his OPP 426, and 111 total hits this season. Yordan is across the board in everything. While on the pitching hand, I mean, probably with Hunter Brown gone, maybe the only pitcher that kept everything going was Peter Lambert. He led 8 wins as a starting pitcher, 8 wins. But he also leads in strikeouts with 81. But give credits to other guys like Josh Hader and Brian King. Josh Hader led in saves this season with 10, and Brian King led in this season with holds with 12, despite all the chaos with the pitching crew. So that's like your updated numbers for the first half of the season for the Astros. I'm hoping by the start of the second half tomorrow, they can keep things going. I know this weekend they welcome in the Baltimore Orioles at Daikin Park. Haven't decided who the starting pitchers are going to be for Baltimore, but I can tell you the Astros got their lineup ready for this weekend. Tomorrow, Peter Lambert's going to be on the mound, 8-5 as a starter. His ERA is 3.14, and so far this season he's allowed 63 hits, 81 strikeouts, 33 walks, and 11 home runs. Spencer Arguetti will be on the mound Saturday. He's 7-5 as a starter with his ERA at 4.50. He's also allowed 65 hits in the first half, 81 strikeouts, 44 walks, and 12 home runs. And our ace makes his return on July 19th. Hunter Brown, I thought he was a star. I thought they would have updated his record. He would be 1-1 right now as a starter, but last I saw he was just 1-0, which I want to say he's 1-1. But either way, his ERA is 3.57. So far this season, 27 hits, 39 strikeouts, 22 walks, and 5 home runs. He's also allowed this season for his short run in the 2026 campaign. We'll see if he can make those numbers better. They haven't announced the upcoming lineup for their next series when they take on the Miami Marlins. So they're going to have back-to-back home series following the All-Star break. after playing Baltimore for the weekend. They're going to play a 3-game series Monday through Wednesday, July 20th through the 22nd against the Miami Marlins. They haven't announced the lineup yet. I was hoping maybe I would have known something by then, but nothing officially made yet. But I'll definitely let you know who took the mound and whatnot when we get to next week's show. But that's your update for the first half of the season for the Houston Astros as we get ready to start the second half. While I'm still in H-Town, I'll go ahead and speaking of keep the Astros talk here, let's recap what we saw in the 2026 MLB All-Star Game and Home Run Derby. It was in Philadelphia. I'll go off the limb and say I'll start with the All-Star Game because it's the only thing I'll have talking that relies on an Astro. Yordan Alvarez was the only guy for the Astros that played on the All-Star team. He did get 1 run in the All-Star Game, and he also had 1 hit, so that was his only stats in the All-Star Game, where the American League shut out the National League All-Stars 4-0. So shouts to the American League for finishing strong. Yordan did get one hit in the game plus 1 run. I think he had a single, but I didn't watch the All-Star Game. I just looked at what the stats. I know the MVP went to Cody Bellinger of the New York Yankees, where he only had 1 hit and 2 RBIs. I'm shocked Miguel Vargas of the White Sox didn't get MVP because he had the only home run for the American League. Home Run Derby, this one really wasn't a shock. Kind of was a shocker. Everyone was all relying on Kyle Schwarber, Philly's own, to win the Home Run Derby. But Jordan Walker of the St. Louis Cardinals won 12-11 in the Home Run Derby over Kyle Schwarber. I don't know how the Philly fans reacted by that. I'm pretty sure it got chaotic because Philly fans are crazy. And I ain't just talking about Eagles fans. Sixers, Flyers, and the Phillies as well. So big week. Big week for the American League. No, the National League can only brag that they won the Home Run Derby with a St. Louis Cardinal in Jordan Walker winning the Home Run Derby for the 2026 All-Stars. So that's about all I got there. Second half of the season's about to go underway. I will bring up the Astros again when we get to the 337, when I'm going to bring up the 2026 MLB Draft. I'm going to do that while we are in the LSU talk. So that's not all I got left on the Astros. Again, I said that's all I'm going to do in the 713 talk. When I bring up the MLB Draft, when I get to the 225, I will bring the Astros back up and bring you their draft picks that they've picked up and whatnot. You'll hear that later in the show. But we're going to go ahead and take it to my neck of the woods so we can get this football preview done, and I got some Gumbeaux Gator baseball to talk. So let's go ahead and get back on the bus. Let's head to my neck of the woods, folks. Let's go to the 337.
I love to have a good time.
All right, now we're in the 337. Before I preview those pokes, let's do a quick rundown of the Gumbeaux Gators so far this season. I know they literally have, if like today's the 16th, they literally got 10 days left of their regular season. Hopefully they can keep the win streaks going, making the playoffs or whatnot. I got their full numbers up, but I should have got like their record up and who they got playing coming up. But let's see if I can get that back up and ready. But as of right now, the Gumbeaux Gators overall 19-17. But in the second half of the season, they're 7-6. Fourth place, like I'll run that down when we get to later in the show. But not a bad record at home. I mean, I feel like they play a lot better at home than they do on the road. Their road record is not good at all. They're 11-4 at the Geaux. They're 8-13 on the road. Not good. Not good at all. But here's their stat numbers as of right now with what they got left of the season. So far this season, the Gumbeaux Gators hitting crew, 245 runs, 302 hits, 50 doubles, 12 triples, 14 home runs, 188 RBIs, 76 extra bases hit, 418 total bases, 209 walks, hit by a pitch 71 times. They struck out 293 times, 20 sacrifice flies, 17 sacrifice hits, 15 hits in the double play with 106 stolen bases, and they were caught stealing 29 times. Their batting average for the season is .259. Their OPP is .397, and their sluggage percentage is .359. While the pitching crew, their ERA this season is 5.76. They've allowed 275 hits, 222 runs, 199 errors, one more from 200, unfortunately. They struck out 304 batters, and they've allowed 12 home runs. I mean, only 12. I mean, 12, only allowed 12 home runs doesn't sound bad, but I feel like the pitching crew can be a little bit better. Since last Thursday, let's recap what they've done. They lost the series to the Flying Bison, getting swept on the road 5-4 and 4-3. This past weekend, they went to San Antonio to play the River Monsters, where they won. They split the series Saturday. Well, they ended up playing a doubleheader on Sunday due to severe weather. They dropped the first game 8-4, but won the second game 3-2. After their off-break day on Monday, they welcomed back the defending champs, the Baton Rouge Rougarou, where the series is going to continue. They're now playing a 4-game series. It's now split. Tuesday night, they won 5-4, and they dropped yesterday's game 9-2. Currently, right now, in the bottom of the 7th, it shows 8-1, but 9-1 now, and we're winning. The Gumbeaux Gators are up 8-1 against the Rougarou, and they will play them again tomorrow night at the Geaux. Then this weekend, they welcome in the Brazos Valley Bombers Saturday, July 18th, and Sunday, July 19th. Possibly. I'm not making promises yet. I might show up Sunday's game against the Valley Bombers because I've only went to one game this season so far. I'm shocked I haven't went to more. I need to make an appearance. And then until next show, they'll have a series with the Victoria Generals on the road, and that's their last road series of the regular season. And then they wrap up the weekend with their newly two teams, the Sherman Shadowcats, next Thursday, July 23rd, and Friday, July 24th. 24th, I will be there for sure. And then they wrap up their final weekend with the Abilene Flying Bison on Saturday, July 25th. I'll be in Houston that weekend for the Dynamo taking on Austin FC. But Sunday, their final home game of the regular season against the Bison, I will be there for that as well, for the season finale. And hopefully after that, they'll get to play some playoff baseball going into the month of August. So fingers are crossed that the Gumbeaux Gators can keep this ball rolling. And we will keep this ball rolling. Now you guys ready to do a little football preview here? I thought this one would be more challenging, but you know what? I wasn't going to let it happen. I made sure to be prepared for this because I didn't know what to get out of this one. You know, it's hard to get everything you need to get when you're talking about an FCS team, but now the tour continues. We're now in the state of Louisiana where the rest of this tour will wrap up, and now it's time to preview my preview of the 2026 McNeese Cowboys, McNeese State Cowboys, McNeese Cowboys, whatever you want to call them. Let's talk about what happened last season. Let's do like we do every time, bro. Let's go back to what happened last season. After bringing back legendary coach Matt Viator, who coached 10 seasons with the Cowboys from 2006 to 2015. He did leave the Pokes for a couple of years. I know he went to UL Monroe to be the head coach from 2016 to 2020. He went to the Raging Cajuns for about 4 years as a quarterback coach, and then came back to his alma mater to once again be the head coach in his 11th season overall, despite his pause for the last several years. Now, not their best season ever with his return. They went 5-7 last season, 4-4 overall in the Southland Conference. And that was also with a new offensive coordinator in Tyler Bolfing and first season co-offensive coordinator in Kyle Segler. But going into the 2026 season, Matt, of course, all making their return. Also, you got defensive coordinator Tony Pecoraro coming in his 5th season as a defensive coordinator. Matt Viator's 12th season with his alma mater. Looking at some impact players, and I made sure I did my homework on this to make sure I didn't leave nobody out. I'll start on the offensive side. A couple of impact players making their return, including senior quarterback Bryce Strong, the former Texas Tech transfer, who last season, not only he could throw the ball, he could run the ball as well. He had over 2,000 passing yards with 11 touchdown passes and through 13 interceptions, but 469 total rushing yards in 2025, including 7 rushing touchdowns, all on 117 carries. Another impact player I think we can look out for. I actually put 3 on here. Speaking of Lake Charles, I got to put a Lake Charles native in here. The former LCCP Trailblazer and former Miami Hurricane before transferring, Trevante Citizen, I think could be the most impactful player in the backfield. Last season, he had 503 total rushing yards on 85 carries with 4 rushing touchdowns. I think this coming season, I think he can get to over 1,000. I think he's going to get to the 1,000 mark. I can see him maybe with if I have a goal, I want to say at least 15 rushing touchdowns. Let's go for 1,000 rushing and 15 rushing touchdowns for Trevante Citizen. And also at wide receiver, I want to put as an impact player for this offense, Cameron Senegal. Last season, 252 total receiving yards on 23 catches with just 1 touchdown. Let's boost that number up. I think I can see him going near 800 receiving yards and maybe about 8 touchdowns, maybe close to 10. You want to shoot for 10? Let's see if we can get 10 receiving touchdowns going into the season. Defense, I'll put a couple of players, including cornerback Mason Edwards. I think he could be one of the most impactful players on defense. Last season, he had 31 total tackles with 15 assists and 46 total tackles, and he did have 1 interception. Also, I'll throw in there linebacker Landon Barrett, who I think is going to be the leader of this defense. 29 solo tackles, 42 assists, 71 total tackles, and 1 forced fumble last year in 2025. I think he'll be the heart and soul of the defense. Watch out for Landon Barrett and Mason Edwards. I think these could be your most impactful players for the McNeese Cowboys going into the 2026 season. All right, looking at the like always for fun, you got to look good. I mean, I think it was last season or 2 seasons ago, you're going to have your traditional look. You got your traditional helmet here. You're going to be seeing that a lot more often. Their usual look, that's their usual home look. Gold helmet, blue jerseys, gold pants. And on the road, same there. Gold helmet, white jersey, gold pants. I don't have an image, but maybe every so often on the road, you might see them wear gold helmet, white jersey, white pants. But remember, it was last season or 2 seasons ago, they debuted these beautiful white helmets, and we've seen an all white out on the road. And a couple times at home, you might see white helmet, blue jersey, white pants, which is a nice little combo. But that's about the only fashion you're going to get for the McNeese Cowboys. All right, let's predict and preview the 2026 McNeese schedule. There it is right here. And good news is for the Poke Nation, you don't have to wait as long for them to start playing football, because for the second time in 2 years, the McNeese Cowboys are having a Week 0 matchup. McNeese will open up the season in conference play at the Whole Navarre Stadium against a conference opponent in Stephen F. Austin. This is going to scare me a bit because Stephen F. Austin, I think the Southland Conference already did their media and everything. Stephen F. Austin is also the defending Southland Conference champions, and they are heavy favored to go back-to-back winning the Southland Conference. Last season, they went 11-3. They were undefeated in the conference. This is going to scare me. I want them to start the season off with a win, but I feel like it might get a little rusty. And I think Stephen F. Austin's going to start the season off with a win and conference play with a win, putting the McNeese Cowboys starting off 0-1. And it hurts saying that, but if I'm being honest, at least we're getting the most dangerous team out of the way early in the season in Stephen F. Austin. I didn't know the Lumberjacks can play football like that. What's going on over there in Nacogdoches, Texas? Well, then their second home game, Week 1, when everyone around the country is going to be playing. They're going to be actually their first 5 games of the season, they're playing teams from the Lone Star State. It's like literally, you look at their schedule, every matchup is Texas teams are Louisiana teams. Like, literally, it's just Texas, Louisiana throughout the entire season. They ain't got to go play nobody in Florida, nobody in the West Coast, Pacific Northwest, the Midwest, the Northeast. No, they're going to keep it down south. And the farthest they're going to have to go is San Antonio, Texas, which is about 6-7 hours away from Lake Charles area. The furthest they got to go east is maybe 2 hours. Nope, 2.5 hours. A little further. I'm looking at it on the schedule. But, correction, looking at the schedule, the furthest trip they're going to have, they're going to the border. I'm looking at this now. So, your 3 farthest trips I'm looking at right here. But they're going to, week 1, when everyone's playing, they'll have, by the way, everything in gold is home. Blue is on the road. So, first 3 games of the season are at the Hole. They open up with Stephen F. Austin week 0. Week 1, they're playing Texas Wesleyan, the Rams from Fort Worth, Texas. Good news is this is like a division. It's a Division 3 school. Division 2 or Division 3 school. They're part of the NAIA. I know that. The good news is I'm going to have them defeating Texas Wesleyan, and this is going to put them at 1-1. But I want to see what their record was. Last season, Texas Wesleyan went 7-5 overall, 7-1 in their conference. Could be a little boost up, tune up game for them, but don't count this team out. I mean, I think it could be a wake up call for the Pokes, but I think you know what, they're going to start the win. They're going to give this a win. I'm giving them a win over Texas Wesleyan, and then a team they've played in week 0 a couple years back. They welcome in the Texans of Tarleton State out of Stephenville. I know they are now on the FCS level like McNeese. They used to be Division 2. They jumped into the FCS level just like them, but they're in a whole nother conference. I want to say they're in the Western Athletic Conference. I might digress, but this time they're in Lake Charles. I'm giving them a win in this one. McNeese beats the Texans of Tarleton State, and they will go 2-1 of the season. Now, their first road game of the season. First road game, they go all the way down south to the border. They go to Eatonburg to play the Vaqueros of UT Rio Grande Valley, a team who last year had their inaugural season with a football team. And let me tell you, in their first season, they did very well for their inaugural season. They went 9-3 last season, 5-3 in the conference. They were 4th. Not bad. They were short making the playoffs, but not bad for an inaugural season for a school that never had a football program. But this time, McNeese is going in their house. They got a very beautiful stadium they just built down there in Eatonburg. I know they got a good fan base and they can travel. I actually saw McNeese play Rio Grande Valley last season. They wrapped up the regular season with UT Rio Grande Valley, and they lost the game. They put an ass whooping on McNeese, and they got a good basketball team too. I was able to see them play in basketball in the Southland Conference tournament. Hell of a game. I remember they beat them. I don't know if it was it was either a semifinal game or it was the championship. Whatever, because I went to both games. I went to a semifinal and a final game. They played them in one of those matchups. Hell of a matchup, too. But, man, why do I feel going in their house for the first time, it could be a dangerous environment. And I think they might drop this one, too. They're going to go 2-2 after that first week up there, and then they're going to be 0-2 in the conference. But then I think they'll get their big break, and they'll finally get a conference win when they head back at home on September 26th. So that's going to be week 4 when they welcome in the Lions of East Texas A&M. Still young and green. Last season they went 3-9 overall with a 3-5 conference record. I'll give McNeese a win for this one. I remember they went to Commerce, Texas last year, beat the holy hell out of them. I think they can get the win there. And then, what's this, week 5? Week 5. definitely a loss. But I love when they play each other, and I'm going to tell you a story real quick. Anytime McNeese plays LSU, it's like dream come reality, especially for those homegrown folks. I love going to this matchup. It's like a homecoming, basically. Because where I grew up, we're only about 30 miles away from Lake Charles. Everyone in this area, I guarantee you, not just in my hometown, but all the other towns in the parish or in Southwest Louisiana, I guarantee you 80% of that region, their kids go to McNeese after they graduate high school, or a lot of the alum that live in that area are McNeese alum. We love McNeese a lot down here because first off, they're in like a whole nother college football level. They're not on that same level as LSU and the Raging Cajuns. They're not FBS Division I level. They're FCS level. They're like they're on their own little league. So while you're cheering for the big dogs, it's okay to cheer for the little brother. Unless if you want to bring up the McNeese UL rivalry especially from back in the day when the Raging Cajuns used to be in the Southland Conference, that's one thing. But LSU and McNeese, they never played each other a lot. But anytime they play each other, it's worth going to because you get to see some of your homegrown talent that there's a lot of people in the area, whether they went to the high school I graduated from or they went to a neighbor school I know from. I always got some friend or family member that went to McNeese, graduated from McNeese or McNeese alum, or did something with them. They played sports with them. They managed with them. They were a cheerleader with them, a cowgirl kicker in the band, or a coach for them, anything like that. Anytime you get a chance to go play in Tiger Stadium is a dream come true. And I know you're going to go up there to take a loss, but you got to be proud of those homegrown talents that get a chance to step on that field on a sacred place like Death Valley, the cathedral of college football, the best place to be on a Saturday night, especially on a Louisiana Saturday night. Since 2010, they've only played 3 times. I went to all 3 games, including that rain delay in 2015. I'll never forget that. The last time they hosted McNeese, I think it was in 2021 or 2022. It's been about 4 or 5 years since they've welcomed McNeese back to Baton Rouge. And it's going to be in October. It won't be that early in the season. I will be there. I'm bringing some people with me. I'm considering wanting to do some vlogging while I'm attending football games or sporting events. Big question mark if I'm going to continue that or not, because if I get that vlog camera I won't be able to bring it into sporting events like this. I'd have to use the iPhone as a backup. But I'm looking forward for a 4th time in my life to see our neighborhood McNeese Cowboys gain their conferences up, collect their paycheck, and just take an easy loss against LSU. But I get to see homegrown talent play on that field, dance on that field, cheer on that field, play their instrument on that field, or coach on that field. Looking forward to going back, but it's going to be a loss, and I think that will put them at 3-3. But that's going to be their first of 3 consecutive road games because after the LSU game, they're on a bye week. So that's going to be week 6. Week 6, McNeese will be on the bye. Week 7, they head up to Natchitoches for an in-state rivalry with the Demons of Northwestern State. Northwestern State has kind of been the laughing stock, the short end of the stick of the Southland Conference. 1-11 last year, and that was their first win in 3 years. But still went winless in the conference. They went 0-8. This should be an easy win for them. I got them beating the Demons, adding a 4th win of the season. And then they go to San Antonio October 24th to play Incarnate Word. Last season, the Cardinals went 5-7 overall, 3-5 in the conference. I think they can win this one as well. So give me back-to-back wins, conference wins. And then I'm going to have to tally up their conference record after that. All right. And then, shockingly, McNeese will be the only team I cover on this show that's going to have a game on Halloween night. Tulane will play a Friday night game. LSU is going to be on a bye week. The Raging Cajuns are on a bye week. Houston Cougars are on a bye week. McNeese will be the only team playing on Halloween night, and they're welcoming in Nichols, who kind of went in on the stick. They used to be one of the better teams in the Southland Conference, but last season Nichols went 4-8 overall, 4-4 in the conference. I think they can bounce back and win this. I'm giving them a win. I'm giving them a win against the Colonels. Then we get into the month of November. They welcome in Houston Christian, who probably the worst, one of the worst, if not East Texas A&M, but last season the Huskies were the worst Texas team in the Southland Conference. They went 2-10 overall, 1-7 in the conference. I think this will be another win for McNeese right here. So this will be win number 7 for the Pokes. Give me a win here. And then you closing out the last 2 games of the regular season. You got rivalry games. November 14th, they go to Southeastern, the runner-ups from last year's Southland Conference, 9-4 overall, 7-1 in the conference. I think they didn't make that. If they did make the playoffs, they had to travel. Strawberry Stadium in Hammond's a tough place to play. It's not the best-looking stadium and the biggest-looking one, but they got some Lion pride down there in Hammond. But I think McNeese will drop that one as well. That give them a 4th loss. And then they close out the regular season with a rivalry game. It's the Battle of the Border, Texas versus Louisiana, their arch rivals in the conference, the Lamar Cardinals. November 21st at Cowboys Stadium. I've never seen this rivalry in football. I've seen it in basketball. I've seen it in baseball. I've always wanted to see this rivalry game. Now's my chance to go because it's in Lake Charles. But usually LSU got a big marquee matchup at the same time. And they do have a road game at Tennessee. So this could be, if I want to see this rivalry, this is my chance to go. But can they win this game? I'm going to possibly say they can. So I'm going to give them a win. Because last season Lamar went 8-5, 5-3. Did they win? They did win the game last year. They won it at the last second, and that's when they had that little brawl at the end. So give me the Pokes to win this one. So that's going to put, I have the McNeese Cowboys overall record 8-4. They might be short getting in the playoffs, or if they do get in the playoffs, they'll possibly have to travel. But that would put their conference record let's see, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9 conference games. So every game on there except 3. Texas Wesleyan, Tarleton State, and LSU are not conference games. So 9 conference games. So that would put their conference record 8-4 overall, 6-3 in the Southland Conference. Yeah, 8 overall record, 8 wins, 4 losses. Conference record, 6 wins, 3 losses. That's my prediction for McNeese. Be on that thin line if they make the playoffs. And if they do make the playoffs, of course, they're going to have to travel. And travel like far. And I mean far, like up like Montana or something, North Dakota, South. Well, North Dakota State's not in the FCS anymore. So they ain't got to worry about the Bison anymore. You'd have to worry about like the Jackrabbits, the Bobcats, the Grizzlies. Maybe go up to Pacific Northwest, like Eastern Washington or something. Sacramento State. Go to a team like that. They don't really go play a lot of teams up in the Northeast, but that's my final take and my final preview of the McNeese Cowboys going into the 2026 season. And that's all I got in Southwest Louisiana. We're going to go ahead and jump to the 225. We're going to go to Tigerland because I got to talk some LSU baseball players that got called up. So while we get to the 225, let's talk the MLB draft and whatnot. Let's go. Yeah, we still on the bus, but we're in the 225 because I want to talk and recap the 2026 MLB Draft. And I'm going to start, now we're in the 225, I'm going to start with LSU baseball. 8 LSU baseball players were drafted in the 2026 MLB Draft, and it all started 5th overall pick in the first round. Derek Curliel, the outfielder, is going to go meet Paul Skeens, another LSU national champion and alum, to go play with the Pittsburgh Pirates. So, well, they love picking LSU Tigers up there in the Steel City. So, Adam, Rich, you got another Tiger, another national champion Tiger. Take care of them. Also, another big name, Jake Brown, outfielder, got called to the Seattle Mariners, 65th overall pick in the second round. Going deep into the fourth, right-handed pitcher Devin Sherian was picked to the Phillies, 128th overall pick there. And then we don't hear another LSU Tiger get called all the way until the 10th round. Grant Fontenot, right-handed pitcher, going to the Kansas City Royals, 299th pick over there. Then in the 12th round, 372nd pick, Santiago Garcia, left-handed pitcher, goes to the Toronto Blue Jays. Then in the 13th round, 385th pick, Connor Binge, right-handed pitcher, goes to the Miami Marlins. Then we go into the 16th round, 480th pick, Lake Charles's own Gavin Guidry, the former Bar Buccaneer and former LSU Tiger, goes to the New York Mets. So another Southwest Louisiana homegrown guy. First guy to get drafted out of LSU from Southwest Louisiana since Ethan Fry, the former Rose Pine Eagle and national champion who went to the Houston Astros. Now Gavin Guidry, former Bar Buccaneer, former state champion, former national champion, going up to Queens to play with the New York Mets. And then we wrap up the final LSU Tiger getting drafted. 19th round, 573rd overall pick, Zach Cohen, right-handed pitcher, goes to the Cleveland Guardians. So congrats to all 8 of those. You know, just like in the NFL, when it comes to a draft, LSU dominates. NFL LSU or MLB LSU Tigers, these are the two best drafts to see an LSU Tiger go. But we'll keep the draft talk. On the other hand, I'm gonna go back to the H-Town talk. Let's talk about some guys that got called up to the Houston Astros. Unfortunately, no LSU Tiger was called up to the Astros, but the Astros did get some big names. And a couple of names I haven't seen. Like, I guess they didn't post online or didn't update. But Astros did get a pick in the first round with the 17th pick. They picked outfielder Logan Hughes out of Texas Tech. I like the pick. They need another outfielder. Then in the 44th pick, they pick right-handed pitcher Jack Riddell out of Notre Dame, another one I like here. I don't know much about him, but I know we need some more pitchers, especially with what happened in the first half of the season. So we got a pitcher from Notre Dame. Jack Riddell is with the Astros. In the second round, the 51st pick, they get left-handed pitcher Wes Mendez out of Florida State. So that's the second Seminole they've drafted in the last 2 drafts, including Cam Smith. So maybe they played together or not. If they are, then they're back together as teammates. In the third round, they get a high school player here. 119th pick, the Astros get Keon Johnson, shortstop from First Presbyterian High School out of Georgia. They got a high school kid I know nothing about. Fourth round, they had 2 picks. The 121st pick, they picked shortstop Cam Durnan out of Missouri. And in the 133rd pick, they get infielder Bo Peterson from Mill Valley High School in Kansas. So that's the second high school player they got. Fifth round, 153rd pick, they get right-handed pitcher Gavin Eddy out of Cal and right-handed pitcher Michael Adari out of Illinois State in the 182nd pick in the 6th round. And they wrap up their draft picks with the 211th pick in the 7th round. They get right-handed pitcher Brian Carney from Olivet. I don't even know if that's a college, a minor league team. I don't know. But they ended up getting 9 players drafted to the Astros. So congrats to the Houston Astros as well, doing well in the 2026 MLB Draft. But that's all I got there. The only thing I got New Orleans Saints related, Alvin Kamara re-signed 1 more season. So, bruh, I shared this tweet the other day because there was one player I didn't want to leave out, but that offense the Saints is going to have going into the 2026 season. You're going to have Tyler Shuck, Travis Etienne, Travis Etienne, Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave, Jordan Tyson, Devon Vale, Shawan Johnson, and Noah Fant on that offense, including the offensive line, which I called this. I said this could be the starting lineup. Kelvin Banks at left tackle, David Edwards at guard, Eric McCoy at center, Cesar Ruiz at right guard, and Taliesin Falaga at right tackle. I called that, and I got it. But, yeah, him and Travis Etienne and Alvin Kamara in the backfield together. Plus, you got Chris Olave, Jordan Tyson, and Devon Vale. That offense is going to be stacked. But I'm going to do the Saints talk when we get to the month of August. Just a couple more topics left to go. FIFA, we're down to the finals. Well, we got the third place game is there. We're down to the final four, technically, even though we already had the semifinals wrapped up. It's going to be Spain versus Argentina in the finals on Sunday. So let's go back. I think it was Tuesday. France beat Spain 2-0 to move on to the finals. And Argentina beat England 2-1 to move on to the finals. So France and England will play in the third place game on Saturday, July 18th at 4 p.m. in Miami for bronze. And Sunday, July 19th at MetLife. Will Argentina go back-to-back? Will Messi end his run at FIFA as a back-to-back FIFA World Cup champion? I think it will. First off, France and England playing for third place. Going to be a hell of a matchup. I want to pick France, but why do I feel Harry Kane and England could win bronze? That's going to be a hell of a battle to watch. I'm going to go with France, but something tells me England's going to win. Argentina's winning it all. Messi's ending it strong and to prove he is the GOAT, which he always been the GOAT. So that's my prediction there. Argentina goes back-to-back in FIFA. And then, oh, man, I want to wrap this up with a recap. If you guys checked out the watch-along, thank you for everyone tuning in. UFC 329, that happened in Vegas this past Saturday. I don't know what to say. I mean, I don't know what to say about the main event, but we're going to recap the prelims and early prelims. I'm going to just go ahead and get this clip out of the way.
If one of y'all says some silly-ass name, this whole class is going to feel my wrath.
So on the early prelims, in the flyweight, Alessandro Costa defeated Cody Durden by submission in the second round with a rear naked choke. In the middleweight, Ryan Gandra defeated Zachary Reese by TKO in the first round with punches. Bantamweight, Farid Basharat defeated John Garza by a unanimous decision. In the middleweight, Damian Pinnis defeated Cesar Almeida by knockout in the first round with a punch. And in the women's flyweight, Wayne Kong defeated Tracy Cortez by unanimous decision. In the prelims, featherweight, Luke Riley defeated Kyle Kamaka III by TKO in the first round with knees and punches. And the bantamweight, Adrian Yanez defeated Cody Garbrandt by TKO in the first round. I did check that out. Heavyweight, Gable Stevenson, his UFC debut, he defeated Elijah Ellison by knockout in the first round with knees and punches. And the final prelim in the light heavyweight, Robert Whittaker defeated Nikita Krylov by TKO in the third round with a jaw injury. Now we get to the main card. Let me just say before we got to the main event, first two fights were absolutely outstanding. Lightweight division, King Green with the comeback of the century defeated Terrence McKinney 1 second shy at the end of the first round by TKO.
Hey, young man, you got knocked the fuck out.
And he sure did. But it gets better. Second fight in the flyweight, Brandon Royval defeated Lanier Cavana by submission in the third round with a rear naked choke. That was the fight of the whole damn main card. Best fight on the main card. Bantamweight, Mario Batista defeated Corey Sandhagen by unanimous decision. This fight was kind of mid. The co-main event in the lightweight, Paddy the Baddy Pimblett defeated Benoit St. Denis by technical submission in the first round with a Pervian necktie. Patty's my new favorite. I love Patty the Batty. The crowd fucking loves him. Did you see them hum and sing a song when he came out to the octagon? Great. And then this shit show right here. All this hype, first fight in 5 years. Max Holloway defeats Conor McGregor by TKO in the first round with a knee injury. Conor McGregor blew his fucking knee out. I don't want to be disrespectful, but after what I saw, I think it's time for Conor McGregor to hang up the gloves. I don't think he's going to physically come back from this. He had everyone talking shit. Everyone was bashing him on the internet with the memes and whatnot. They cannot catch him a break. All that hype to blow your knee out and still collect $30 million paycheck. But he says he's going to make a return. I don't know. The last 3 times I saw McGregor fight, he lost. I'll never forget when he got knocked out by our boy Dustin Poirier. The only time I ever picked against Conor McGregor. But Miocic knocked him out. I picked him in there. He loses this fight, blowing his knee out. And I picked him. I don't know. But I can guarantee you this. The last 2 times I hosted a watch-along, they have been very successful. Over 1,000 views for UFC Freedom 250. I haven't got the final tally numbers for this last one we just did. But possibly I will host a watch-along for the next one. I don't have a graphic up, but I possibly will have one for next week. As of right now, I am planning on hosting a watch-along for UFC 330, which is going to be Makhachev versus Machado Gary. That's going to be in Philadelphia, August 15th at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. 2 title fights, headlined by the main event, Islam Makhachev versus Ian Machado Gary for the UFC Welterweight Championship. With the co-main event, Mackenzie Dern versus Jillian Robertson for the UFC Women's Strawweight Championship. Plus, you got Jeremiah Wells versus Mike Tibet Oralba from the welterweight. Aaron Blanchfield versus Jasmine Jasdavius from the women's flyweight, and Jalen Turner versus Cowley Fernandez from the lightweight division. That looked like it's going to be your main card with a couple other fights with names I cannot pronounce, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce. But as of right now, I possibly will host a watch-along for the next one, August 15th in Philly, UFC 330. Makhachev versus Machado Grady. And plus there's 2 title fights. Gonna be a big night. Anytime you got 2 title fights on a main card, that's a big night. I can't skip this one. We're gonna do this one. Even if no one shows up. Or if they show up at the last second. I still plan on hosting one. But that's gonna wrap up tonight's edition of On the Go. Thank y'all for tuning in. I do a quick reminder before I go. The football preview tour will continue next week in the 337 next Thursday, July 23rd, same time, same place at 9 p.m. I am going to preview next those Raging Cajuns of UL Lafayette or USL, ULL, UL, or just Louisiana, like they want to be called. But next Thursday, July 23rd, my next preview is on those Raging Cajuns. But as of now, that will be it for tonight's show. Thank y'all for tuning in. God bless you all. God bless America. Stay hydrated out there. It's still hot as hell. Summer getting closer to the end. I know it won't be long, within 3 to 4 weeks. People are going to be back in school. We're going to be back in football mode, football fever. Another 3 weeks until our first NFL preseason game. So the clock is ticking, folks. I'm gonna close out by saying this. We're gonna do like a little countdown here. I'm gonna pop the calendar up. Hang on, here we go. All right. 1, 2, 3 weeks until the Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio. 4 weeks until the first week of NFL preseason. 5 weeks until high school football scrimmages are underway. 6 weeks until Jamboree week for high school and week 0 of college football. 7 weeks until week 1 of high school football in Louisiana and college football all across the country. And 8 weeks until NFL kickoff. So we are now in the single digits. I know you guys are happy. I am sure happy. Football is right around the corner. 1-2 boogie, Shorty George.
Give me 1-2 boogie and Shorty George. Shorty George.
And we're going to keep counting down week after week. I know everyone's ready for football like I am. Especially on the high school side, new coach. Very confident we're going to have a great, successful season. College football, we got Lane Kiffin, the bad guy at LSU. Let's see if he can bring LSU to the playoffs in his first season. And the Saints, Kellen Moore doing Saints stuff his second season. We get the hottest running back in free agency, Travis Etienne, homegrown talent, come and play with the Saints, and we're going to see how good the Saints can do. I'm ready. Plus, I'm also ready to watch Houston Cougars, McNeese Cowboys, Raging Cajuns. I'll even Tulane on the side. But that's all I got. Thank y'all for tuning in. God bless y'all. Peace, love, I'm out. Y'all have a good night.